Hey yo, this is Chicos. This is Reza Ramon, and you're listening to the Cast of Champions.
Alright, this is Robert Slack and Kraken. Follow me on.
That intro will find its way on Botchamania somehow. How y'all doing? Welcome to the Cast of Champions. This is Mark, aka BCB Markpedia. How y'all doing?
So are your face marks as we hit YouTube. This is Robert Slack and Kraken. Hit me on Twitter.
I know we're gonna be on Botchamania this week. Don't worry about it. But you'll experience it with our very nice new Yeti microphone. It is amazing. We're getting much better production value.
It's pimp.
It definitely is. Well, enough with our bad botching. We're going to get on with the show a little bit. You got any news from the Twitterverse, my friend?
Oh, we got Alberto Del Rio. He just quit the WWE today.
What's he going to do? Go back to Mexico and be Patron or Dos Caras Jr.?
He's going to a divorce. I'm pretty sure he's going to the homeless shelter. And Paige might join him. I don't know.
Hey. Shoot, he's lucky but unlucky at the same time right now.
I don't care what happens to him. I can never see him again. I'll be happy.
Maybe I'll go back under the mask.
And then, of course, the only other thing is Finn Balor congratulating Kevin Owens win the Universal Championship.
Yeah.
That's another big thing. Other than that, there's really nothing going on Twitter regarding wrestling. Cesaro might be injured after the match with Sheamus.
That's not good, man. I was hoping for Cesaro to get the big push.
Well, there's no guarantee, and of course, you have the Headbangers premiering on SmackDown. I think they're going to be a great enhancement. I hope they actually give them some mic time, because they never had that.
I was about to say, Mosh and Thrash are old now, though. They were back, before and during the Attitude Era a little bit?
They were, at the very beginning of the Attitude Era, and they kind of phased out after. They were enhancement talents then, too. I don't think they ever even held a championship, to be honest. I know they're in Ring of Honor for a little while with the House of Truth, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
I'm always been a huge fan.
Well, I hope to see them a little bit, but, the last thing I think we needed was geriatrics coming back, man.
Well, they're going to have to do that. They want to enhance talent. They're going to have to bring back some old boys that can actually do the job.
Well,
but you have RVD, Tommy Dreamer saying no.
Yeah.
I'm sure Brian Kendrick, he's going to be on SmackDown soon enough.
Well, I hope so. But
I'd rather him just go away. But that's probably
we'd all rather Brian Kendrick go away. We'd also rather his newest protege go away too. But that's another story for another time.
But so we had NXT.
Yep. We had there was only a 2-match show because, they did a bunch of recaps from NXT the Takeover, which I never have liked recap shows.
Well, you had Ty Dillinger go over, which he broke his losing streak. I think it was on a 4
or 5 match losing streak.
And he went over strong over Blake, which was nice. And then you had the Authors of Pain go over.
Well, the Mighty Don't Kneel, or TM61 as they're calling them.
Well, they were the only team that actually did something against them. They put them on the ground. They actually had them in the ropes a couple times. I think it was a decent match.
Yeah, but the fact that they've had the Mighty Don't Kneel basically jobbed the last few times we've seen them, that kind of frustrates me.
They're still trying to find the American style. They're used to the Japanese audience that just wants the athletic ability, and they're not really into the whole facial expression. They're not used to the American style, so they really need to get into that, basically. As soon as they get that, I give them another 3 weeks, and I'm pretty sure they're going to be tag team champs. They're going to be going against Revival without a doubt. Or maybe Johnny Gargano or Ciampa, but I've heard Johnny Gargano might actually go into Raw already.
Okay. Also, another thing off of NXT that I didn't write down, the Sanity promos.
Pretty sure that's Eric Young.
From what I've heard, it's either Eric Young or some guy they got from the Netherlands. That's the couple of rumors I've heard.
I feel it's Eric Young just based off Triple H is really high on him, and from my understanding, he might be premiering during the Canadian run with NXT.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not appearing, but he just signed a contract, and I think they're going to reintroduce him.
I
think it's going to be great. think
Oh,
he's
I'd
gonna be
love to
awesome.
see EY back.
And I think he'd be a great addition to Raw. I don't think he would work really well on SmackDown because of Bray Wyatt, but I think because he's a really good mic talker when he gets the opportunity, not on a Bray Wyatt level, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, he's a
basically.
decent level guy.
He's a good mic worker, and if they give him a couple underlings, he could really enhance the talent at the same time.
Yeah,
He's a really underrated talent. TNA really abused him, same way they do with Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, the list goes on.
Rude, yeah, Aries, yeah. But what I was about to say is, if they were to put him on SmackDown, they'd just make him Bray Wyatt's freaking underling.
And I don't want that. That's why I said Raw.
Yeah, I feel you.
All the way. I think he'd be a great talent on Raw. I see that in the next 6 months, him being on Raw easy.
You already know my feelings with a lot of the TNA talent. Why didn't they just, ship them up to Raw? Because, Austin Aries, Bobby Roode, Samoa Joe, all those guys are name guys.
Now, the problem with Austin Aries is that they're still trying to figure him out. Is he a cruiserweight? Is he a heavyweight champion? Yes, he's been a heavyweight champion everywhere he's been. The problem is he's having to reinvent himself.
TNA, yeah.
Exactly.
The greatest man who ever lived.
He has the mic ability and the presence of a heavyweight champion. He has the build of a cruiserweight champion. So what they're trying to do is have him prove himself in NXT. And since he even said himself, with Nakamura coming in, he got lost in the shuffle. That was literally in a promo he said. He's building himself up as a world champion. I believe, just as I feel that Fergal Devitt, or as he's also known as Finn Balor, is a world champion material, as he was already Universal Champion, so he got injured by Seth Rollins. The fact is that he has that ability, but Vince McMahon, Triple H, and the WWE Universe sees him, and they're confused if he's on the heavyweight title picture.
I personally would have given Aries the chance before I'd have given Fergal Devitt, but that's just me.
Well, I agree to an extent.
Because Aries is a more known name to the American audience.
He is, but Finn Balor has a better look. He has a better draw factor if you look across the board.
Because Aries plays a much better heel than Fergal Devitt does. Or at least much better to the American audience.
But Fergal Devitt, or Finn Balor, has a better look, and he has a style that is more suitable for WWE, which he has created from the independents or Japan.
From Japan, mostly, yeah.
Which a lot of people don't know. He actually trained a couple people. Becky Lynch
is one of his trainees.
So he's actually built a repertoire of a lot of things that people don't understand or want to consider.
If you look at half the guys that are in NXT right now, I've seen a lot of Castagnoli and Chris Hero.
Oh, Jakara Pro is really coming up. A lot of the signees and trainees. Drew Gulak is actually a trainer for Jakara Pro now as well. And I believe he trained there. He was a CCW champion, if I remember as well.
Yeah, he was CCW. Yeah.
But the only other match that was on NXT was the Authors of Pain.
Going over the Mighty Don't Kneel.
Which
I
still
refuse to call them TM61 because I think it's retarded.
I think it was a good match. It's the only team that actually went against them decently. I mean, there's the only team I was like, well, maybe they actually might lose. And it's the first time their manager actually had to take them aside and go, hey, you need to do this. But that's enough at NXT, honestly. It was just a recap show. But we had CCW.
We had the CWC, the Cruiserweight Challenge. We had Rich Swann and Lince Dorado.
Yes. Which I think it was actually a smart move, having Rick Swann go over Lince Dorado, because Rick Swann was actually signed.
Oh, yeah.
Great match. I love the
I love
Alex Wright dance.
Oh, well, it's Rich Swann. Rich Swann is the man.
Well, yeah, but you had Lince Dorado doing an homage to Alex Wright or Berlin or whatever you want to call him.
Yeah, Alex Wright, yes. The Das Wunderkind.
Which I thought was a great match. Had a lot of comedy spots, a lot of great action. It was the best match of the night.
My question is, why would you put Lince Dorado this early against Rich Swann? Because to me, I think Lince Dorado's been one of the 5 best guys doing this.
They decided not to sign him. I don't know all the information about it.
You know my thoughts on this. I thought he was one of the 5 best guys there, and I thought Rich Swann was arguably the best one.
And
I thought they already got rid of a couple of the guys that were, so far to me, the 10 best guys. They got rid of Arya Daivari early, who I thought was really good. They got rid of Mustafa Ali, even though they had him do a job spot on NXT the other couple weeks ago. But they got rid of him quick in the seat. They had him he was Lince Dorado's first opponent.
Well, yeah, I agree.
And I thought Mustafa Ali should have been given a better look
To an extent, I think he might get a development contract down the road, but I think Lince Dorado, I mean, I enjoy the match. I'm happy he went against Rick Swan because they're good friends, and it was a great match.
I know
it had every element.
I know you're higher on Zack Sabre Jr. and Drew Gulak than I am. And I'm not really all that high on Drew Gulak either.
Well, I'm a great fan of Zack Sabre Jr. There's a match against Chris Hero on PWG that I really enjoyed. Okay. Chris Hero actually had a finger injury and started bleeding, and they decided to incorporate that in the match. So he has the ability to work on the fly and be able to work with wrestlers when they have an injury and go, I have this injury, I want you to work on it, or if I'm bleeding, he has a way to exploit it and make it interesting. Mm-hmm. But I enjoy the match. I'm not a big Drew Gulak fan.
I'm not a big fan of roll-up finishes, though.
I was really... Well, I think it was perfect because they're both submission specialists, and for either one to get a decisive submission finisher is a bad idea.
And then, the final match, Mr. T.J. Perkins... Going over Hanoi Boy, Manic, for people who are not.
Mm-hmm. And I think, what was the name he had? It was under a mask. I can't remember.
Suicide, Manic? Yeah.
No, it was a
Hanoi Boy.
It was another one.
Tigre Uno or something?
No, not Tigre Uno. I cannot remember for the life of me. But he had he was under a mask also. I cannot remember. It was back in TNA days.
He went over Gargano.
Which I was smart. I love that he was selling injury against the Revival.
Oh, yeah.
Johnny Gargano, I mean, he's above this
Cruiserweight challenge. Him and Ciampa, but...
I've been watching him since he first
premiered. I was mad that they had them go against each other early.
Well,
because I thought they should have had them go further, both of them. And not put them in the same match.
I think it was smart. You have T.J. Perkins go with Johnny Gargano because T.J. Perkins...
It's not T.J. Perkins, I was saying the first round. I didn't think him and Ciampa should have gone against each other early.
It was smart because it shows two tag team partners can go against each other and still be friends and go above that. But you have T.J. Perkins go with Gargano, and I've been watching him since he was just doing the promo work for Dragon Gate USA when they first started, where he would introduce matches. And he became the heavyweight world champion for them for almost, I think, 2 years straight. And every match was epic. I didn't hear he was a champion for 2 years. Every match was important. Johnny Gargano deserves to be a champion, universal or heavyweight. I think he deserves to be above the cruiserweight.
All right, well, that was the CWC for y'all. Up next, we have last week's SmackDown episode.
It was okay.
We had Becky Lynch going over Alexa Bliss, which I think was good.
It was almost the best match of the night, honestly.
Yeah, it was a good match. Yeah, because this was kind of a snooze of a card. You had the Usos going over the Ascension, which nobody cares about either one of them.
Unfortunately, Ascension was big on NXT, but they had buried the hell out of it.
And then American Alpha going over Breezango, which, to tell you the truth, American Alpha was very over in the NXT world, but it doesn't seem like the fans care that much about them right now.
To an extent, I think the problem is that they're basing the SmackDown audience being the same in NXT, and they're not building them. So, and there's no tag teams on SmackDown that matter. So how can they actually show they have the ability if they are facing tag teams that are enhancement tag?
Like Breezango. Yeah. Which nobody cares about Fandango, and they buried Tyler Breeze to no end.
Well, it's a horrible character. He's like the metrosexual Shawn Michaels.
I thought you were going to say gay Shawn Michaels, but metrosexual is about the next step up from gay.
That's bad political stance. I say metrosexual because, as far as I know, he does like vagina, so it's okay.
Well, he does. But Slater and Rhino.
I like the tag team. I think it'll be a good comedy spot. Slater is really underrated because he'll take anything that creative gives him and makes it gold.
Yeah, I mean, the Social Outcasts, 3MB.
Even when he was being buried by John Cena with the Wendy's gimmick. Yeah. Remember that?
Yeah.
He still made that get over. He
has
the ability, no matter what is given to him, make it go. And WWE really needs to give him something after this.
And then Styles going over Ziggler for the number one contendership, which makes perfect sense.
It does. Ziggler is a workhorse. I think at this point in his career,
he's the upper mid-card guy that leads you into the main event. That's what I see Ziggler as.
I mean, I
He's
think
a star jobber.
I understand
Sorry.
that, but I think the only thing that at this point, the only thing that might save his career is bring back the Spirit Squad. I mean, he's at the point of his life that they have buried him so much. I mean, he's a great workhorse. Do not get me wrong. I'm a big fan of Ziggler to a point.
But you know Ken Doane is never going to come back to WWE. You
Well,
already
he doesn't
know
deserve
that.
a spot. I don't care what he does in Ring of Honor. He does not deserve a
Who,
spot.
Ken Doane?
Yes.
Or Kenny Dykstra to the WWE Universe?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big fan of him.
But I'm saying, you were saying the Spirit Squad in order to bring
Well,
back
I mean,
the Spirit
Mike,
Squad.
I'm a big fan of his Ring of Honor work and other promotions, but...
Yeah, but I'm saying the two key members of it back in the day were...
And I've never
Kenny
been a
and
fan of
Nikki.
Kenny. I've never been a fan of Kenny. I don't think he deserves a spot. I'm not a fan. I think his Ring of Honor work is crap, but that's just me.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's just where I feel Ziggler is. I think he's been buried so much, people look at him and like, okay, he's going to enhance this guy.
He's Nikki from the Spirit
He's
Squad. That's what
an
he is.
upper mid-carder enhancement talent, and it sucks for him, but
He's
that's
what they
he's
call a star jobber.
That's a perfect reference.
Yes. Carmella coming out and attacking Nikki Bella.
I never thought she'd be a really good heel.
That's the only thing. Is that the heel work is kind of a little bit,
A lot better. I mean, her face work was okay, but her heel work, she just comes off of that, I'm not going to take your crap. I'm going to be what I want. You're not going to take the spotlight from me. I never thought she had that ability, and I think she's going to get way over really quick. I know it's not going to happen, but I know there's been rumors of a women's tag team championship. Alexa and Carmella as a heel tag team
that
would get really over really quick.
Oh,
Because
I can
Carmella as
see
a
that.
heel is very smooth, and I can get behind it really
Alright, yeah, because she was not doing worth a crap as a face.
Yeah, her as a heel, I mean, even if she stayed as a face going what she did to Nikki, I'm fine. Because Nikki doesn't deserve the spotlight.
Yeah.
Never has.
Well,
never
she's
will.
also only going to be part-time. But then
Good.
you have
Just
Wyatt,
like John Cena, her boyfriend.
Yeah.
Both part-time, both don't matter.
Randy Orton coming out and getting interrupted by Bray Wyatt. How you doing?
Yeah, I mean, Wyatt is going to try to put Orton over, just like he does everybody. But
Well,
I don't think Orton.
I think they need to put they need to put Wyatt over now. This is the one where they need to put the rocket up Bray Wyatt's ass.
Well, I mean, they pretty much already broke up the Wyatt family with him throwing down the mask on the chair.
Yeah.
And I think Wyatt is going to get the push. The problem is with what happened at the pay-per-view with Brock Lesnar stalled. So they're having to reinvent and figure out what they're going to do going forward. I think what they're going to do is build Wyatt versus Orton, show he's better than Orton, and then he's going to go after
After
Lesnar.
Styles.
No, I think he's going to go after Lesnar first, and they're going to have a pay-per-view match because that's what they want. Both have been wanting that match.
Well, we've been wanting Wyatt versus Lesnar since we thought it was going to happen at WrestleMania.
I'm just afraid of Lesnar getting hurt because everyone that Lesnar
Or
faces
Wyatt
gets
getting hurt by Lesnar.
Yeah, exactly. I apologize.
Yeah. Shane O'Mac did a crappy little deal, but that's...
He was great when he first came back, but he's trying to just live off his old days when he does promos and just kind of let the crowd talk for himself, and it just doesn't work.
The only thing that's over with Shane O'Mac is that entrance, though.
It always will be. It's a great epic entrance from the 90s and
Yeah,
the era.
Him doing that da-da-da-da, ching-ching.
Yeah, and the whole
Yeah.
stupid dance.
Yeah.
I'm surprised his knees and hips can take it after falling off the hell of a
Hey,
cell.
man, he's 45 years old, but apparently he's still in pretty good shape.
He was in best shape of his life against The Undertaker.
Yeah.
You see that man's abs?
And
Holy crap, man.
then, of course, what a lot of people didn't see off of Talking Smack, the Miz's segment.
I'm a Miz
Gold.
fan now. I mean,
Gold.
I know he
Complete
was a
gold.
sheep to a point because the Bingle Hall comment really hurt Daniel
Really
Bryan.
pissed off Ryan Danielson.
Even if it wasn't, I know it affects him because he always said if he didn't get cleared to go back to independence. But I believe it's his wife now, Bella.
Yeah,
Brie
Brie Bella is his wife, yes.
And
She basically is probably the reason he didn't go back
exactly,
to the
I know
Miz.
that's what it is, and it hurt him personally. and
Because he
mentally.
can't tell the Miz that on TV.
No,
He
and
can't say that.
It's great TV. It really brings Miz into a different spotlight where he's not that stupid mid-card guy that is just holding a title for someone else. It
Yeah.
actually, I'm hoping tonight actually puts him in a main event spotlight.
Or at
That's
least,
what I want.
an upper mid-card spotlight, where... Cause
He deserves main event.
But
He
I'm
proved
saying-
that against John Cena all
but-
day long.
But I'm saying he's going to be the third the third from last match, because the Wyatt Lesnar match is going to be above
Well, I
that.
understand
And
I'm talking about
Ambrose Styles.
a year and a half down the road, he deserves to be main event again. If
Maybe.
he continues down the same road, he deserves that. He's proved himself time and time again. He's got crappy gimmicks, and I know
he is a good heel promo, but if they ever try to turn him face, he's done for.
Oh, God. They tried that before, and that's why his position is now.
Well, that's it.
And Slater versus Rhino.
We already, And next up, we're going to go over the embarrassment of this TNA.
Really quick, because I don't even want
Yes, because they had the Miracle going over on a 10-man battle royal where he took advantage of Moose and Eddie Edwards trying to put each other over the rope and just pushed them both, where Moose kind of gave him a little bit of a chat.
It's too soon for the Moose to go face. He's too green. He doesn't have the audience behind him to really become a face and become actually interesting. It's way too soon. I really enjoy the Miracle. I enjoy his Ring of Honor work. I just think TNA is really not in the position to really push him in the right way.
Yeah, and when some of the other 9 people in the match are the Bromans, the Tribunal,
Tribunal sucks.
People that nobody gives a rat's ass about. When the final 4 guys in that match were Moose, Miracle, Eddie Edwards, and Jesse Goddard, that should tell you something.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
And then you had the Hardys and Decay doing a segment, which kind of meh.
As you would like to say, I'd just like to delete the entire segment.
Yeah, I would. Delete, make it obsolete.
That was more than enough.
Yes. Abyss going over Jeff Hardy. Thank you.
I mean, this is the first time I enjoyed the Abyss character since it became the Abyss, honestly. I think him taking out the mask, makes more sense. He seems more fluid, more comfortable than he has in a long time.
Chris Parks?
Yes.
Yeah. And then you had Allie going over in the 5-way knockout match by fluke.
I think he's the new champion, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, just wasted.
Kind of meh. And then EC3 and Drew Galloway having their little segment, which was actually okay. That was actually the best part of TNA.
It was.
And then Eli Drake trying to be a wannabe Miz doing a Fact of Life. The Fact of Life.
Yeah, I don't know why they give him so much mic time. He's annoying as hell.
Yeah, he's a dummy. Yeah. And then you had EC3 going over Drew Galloway with Damian Sandow as your ref.
I really wish they would just stop the Galloway versus EC3. It does not work.
Well, it's not that they're bad workers. It's just people get sick of seeing them against each other.
Well, they're great workers, but they do not click.
And as I said, people just get sick of seeing the 2 of them against each other.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally you had this week's episode of Monday Night Raw.
Greatest episode they've had in the last 2 weeks.
Started off with a segment with Corey Graves, and in the 4 finalists for the Universal Championship, you had Rollins, Reigns, Big Cass, and Kevin Steen.
Well, I think Owens really saved the segment where he started off like, I thought you just want all us to be friends, because it was really dry, really bad.
Yeah, Seth Rollins was dry, and, surprisingly, who'd have thought the best 2 sounding out of that were Kevin Steen and Big Cass?
Well, you can tell Cass's lines were fed to him, but he did really well with them. I mean, Owens was very fluid. And between the 2, they really saved the segment. I think it ran too long, but I did enjoy it.
And Rollins talked too much.
I don't think he talked too much. I just think what he had to say didn't know it was valid.
It kind of sucked.
He just kind of felt like he was just there. Like he was just there, just like, I'm better than you, and I don't really need to say anything, and it was a bad move.
And you have Roman Reigns just staring off into space, looking like he's uninterested.
Well, because he's uninteresting, so it makes sense.
Then you had Jericho and Neville.
I'm just happy Neville didn't get hurt this time.
Yeah.
Last time they faced each other, he shattered his ankle and then tried to continue.
And it wasn't Jericho's fault.
No, you noticed Little Nate wasn't the ref this time, right?
Yeah, Charles Robinson.
Just in case. Just in case.
No Little Nate this time.
I enjoyed the match. I think it was a great match, and you have the Lionheart, the Lion Tamer, you had the old school feel. I enjoyed the entire match.
Then you had the Nia Jax segment.
Yeah, it was a waste of time, just like Braun Strowman's segments. A waste of time.
Which he had one later, and they had some. But Braun Strowman did a big faux pas during his match.
I don't know why he ripped off his mask. He should have disqualified them. The win should have been to the jobber. Honestly, I'm an old school.
But he did it after the match. But still,
even on Lucha Style, you did that. They would reverse the decision.
Yeah, because that's very disrespectful to Lucha Libre, man. Y'all know that. And then you had El Generico, Sami Zayn, going over Jinder Mahal.
Yeah, I mean, I really didn't care how much he was selling his ankle during the match. I understand he's trying to promote. He was hurt from the last week. I think it was a little too much. I'm happy, Sami Zayn went over. I think it was just my move.
And then you had Bayley and the New Day going over Dana Brooke and the Bullet Club. You were telling me a little something about that.
Yeah,
earlier.
Luke Gallows' wife was really upset about Dana Brooke being out there, but I think the match was great. Overall, it was a great show. You had Cesaro versus Sheamus as well. Cesaro maybe got hurt.
Yeah, and then the Stephanie McMahon-Heyman thing went. No, I wasn't that big.
Yeah, it was a waste of time. I don't know what they're doing with that. And we already talked about the Braun Strowman, and
nobody cares about making Darren Young great again anymore.
And they need to kill it.
Titus O'Neil, I think, is about to bury it.
He buried it last week. The greatest thing that happened, of course, was Kevin Owens becoming champion. I don't know what's going on with Triple H, but you can still. Stephanie was not happy about it.
Triple H turning on Seth Rollins. Yeah, that works for me.
I mean, I think it was great. It was great. He's a Universal Champion. It's what should have been done. I never dreamed it would happen this quick. But overall, I loved Raw.
It was a good Raw, and I'm hoping that SmackDown can deliver tonight.
Of course, check us. We're going to do some Periscope stuff on Boldcastify a little later, so check us on that.
A little bit of extra, so that you get to see us.
Overall, you had Big Cass. I think he's the next test, just without a drug addiction.
And with some mic skills.
Yes. But overall, it was a great show, and I think we're done.
Yeah, you can find us on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. Twitter @Cast of Champions. O is a 0, by the way. And you can find us also on Boldcastify on the Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, every other media you can think of. Yeah. Hopefully, we'll get some YouTube stuff coming up soon.
Yeah, hit me up on Slack and Crack. You got some questions, you want something to see on this show, hit me up. I'm on there every day. I actually did a little tutorial on Twitter, so I actually know what's going on now. So, Cast of Champions or Slack and Crack, and hit me up. I want to know what y'all think.
Or at BCB Markopedia. I'm going to start getting back at looking at mine as well. So y'all can get in touch with me. And you've been listening to the Cast of Champions on the Boldcastify Radio Network.
Time to play the game!